What's goody to any and everybody who may be listening? Okay, now we gotta get back on Morris Williams. But I'm not. It's not just gonna be about Morris Williams. It's gonna be about that whole sort of like that whole neighborhood, Garner High School, the individuals who I had to deal with and encounter in this within this neighborhood and within this school when I got there. So let's go ahead and talk about. I done already talked about Morris in the past. This individual was on the motherfucking DL. He had girlfriends, but they were just beards. This was a massive energy harvest. This was one of the first of, like my heart, one of the first individuals who affected my heart in some way. Okay, by pretending to be my best friend, but at the same time, he did hang with motherfuckers who I just did not like. I found that to be the case with some of the people who I, just like Justin Gatewood, who was around individuals who I just could not stand and could not stand me. Okay, so he was around these individuals, and I'm gonna say the names too. There was individuals by the name of Keisha Watson, that with the big gap, with the biggest gap in her mouth, the biggest gap in her mouth. Okay, just not cute, but thought she was cute. Okay, and was a bully. And thought she could bully me, but she would have got beat the fuck down. Truly. Let's talk about Federica. Now, Federica, she was always someone, bitch. That bitch thought she was the shit and looked like a pig. She reminded me of sort of like a younger version of Lizzie Anderson. She had that complexion. She was lighter in complexion. I believe she was biracial, but nonetheless, she looked like a pig. She was like a cheerleader or something at some point, I think, or she wore a cheerleader ribbon or something like that. She reminded me of somebody that was hostidity or bougie. Bitch, which I didn't give a fuck about. Okay, now Letitia, that's her name, just in time. And Letitia Hodges, who was a motherfucking bully when I was a smaller child, and was around Crystal Burrell, who I got to get into that bitch too, who didn't hang around nothing but the ops. Okay, now there was something that occurred with around Crystal Burrell. Gotta talk about this around Crystal Burrell. Crystal Burrell, her mammy Evelyn Burrell, who is deceased now and better not be nowhere around me. Okay. And Dennis. This individual by the name of Dennis. And as I say this, I am saying that the Holiday Inn. There is a Holiday Inn. Or it was, but it was like the tallest building. Like downtown Raleigh, right off of Glenwood Avenue. Like once you get off the highway. I think it's still there. It could already be down, but demolished or something. But it was in something. Something occurred. There was some sort of something, some ritual, some exploitation, some molestation, something like that occurred in that room, that hotel room, in that, or something's occurring around that building, because I put a bookmark there. I put a bookmark there. At that hotel, that big tall Holiday, that tall building, Holiday Inn. It's a circle building. It's circular. Okay, it's gonna be becoming clearer, but we gotta go ahead and do our decrees and declarations surrounding it. I decree and declare any of my soul fragments and light sparks that were caught up in the energy of whatever occurred in that hotel, or the reason why I put that bookmark there, be released, freed, removed, and returned on home to the mother, the father, and the child, which is none other than myself. because can't nobody duplicate me. It don't matter what you tried to do to duplicate me into separate bodies. They all belong into one because I'm one soul. Okay? I decree and declare any of my soul fragments and light sparks that got caught up within that God sisterhood shit between myself and Crystal, that dumb bitch, be released, freed, removed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Okay? Any of my light sparks, any of my soul fragments, I decree and declare are removed from Evelyn Burrell and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Any and all of my soul fragments and light sparks that were lost or that got caught up within the energy of Dennis. Because something about Dennis, something's coming up about Dennis. Removed, freed, released, and brought on back home to me where they belong. My babies that's been missing and been frozen in place with that dark shit up over it, be removed from that shit and brought on back home. They were freed and able to swim and fly like they do. Okay, let's move on. I gotta talk about how, cause this not really about Morris. I done already got that bitch together. This is about the folk that he hung with, and supposedly a best friend of mine. But again, the whole family was a clan. The Williams clan, the whole motherfucking family. They stayed on one road, which I found to be very weird. And the road was named Old Williams Road. Right up there in Raleigh, off Pool Road, Old Williams Road. Okay. Let's go ahead and do our decrees and declarations. I decree and declare any of my soul fragments and light sparks that got caught up in that road, in any one of them houses, within any one of those clans members. Let's go ahead and say some of them names. Okay. Maria with her big old fat tail. She eat too much and don't exercise enough. Tisha, the other sister. Any of the, and she reminded me of Danielle so much, but just the way she looked and her energy, the stupidity with all them dicks that ran through her. Okay. Who else? The mammy, and I forgot her name. Angela, any and all of her sisters, that trifling husband of hers, because they were all Masonic, and he was the dead giveaway. Because the daddy reminded me of Herbert. Okay, but I decree and declare any of my soul fragments and light sparks that got caught up within any of those clans members be released, freed, removed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Okay? That damn dog that I don't give a fuck about, that I left back there not feeding it because I knew something was going on. What the fuck, this bitch expected me to go back there and feed his dog for Morris? Stupid. Acted stupid. I decree and declare any of my light sparks and soul fragments that got lost or caught up within the midst of the energy surrounding me not going to feed that dog released, freed, and brought on back home to the mother, father, and the child. The dog wound up dying, which now looking back I don't give a fuck about it, but then I sort of cared because I was more empathic. I was more empathic towards individuals who didn't deserve my empathy. These so-called narcissists, which they are not narcissists, these are demons. Individuals with that dark shit up in they are the carriers of that dark shit and that flubber. Okay? and his grandmammy, any of his grandmammy, the one that passed away, the ones that still living, his grandpappies, Morris, we talking about Morris, Donald, any of my motherfucking light sparks, or soul family, they got caught up in that stinking breath bitch, Donald, with that breath bitch, be removed and brought home to the mother, the father, and the child. And the brother was Lamont. Any of my light sparks that got caught up in that bitch, Lamont, be removed, released, freed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. These bitches up in church every Sunday, going to praise some demon. Where my money at? Now let's go ahead and talk about the no, cause I ain't done. I ain't finished. I ain't finished. This is gonna be a long one. Okay. Stefan. Even though Stefan was cool a little bit, but still the bitch was part of that society. I decree and declare that any of my light sparks that got caught up in the midst of my dealings with Stefan, which is Morris's cousin, within the energy of that Philip, who is, I think Philip is the one that's deceased, especially Philip, out, released, removed, and brought on back home to the man. Philip better not be nowhere around me either. And for you, let's go ahead and make this clear. I decree and declare any spirits at all. Now, I'm talking about any spirits. If you come around me, you better have something. You better have some piece of information. You better have some news. You better be bringing me some money. You better be doing something for me, or you better get away from me. I decree and declare you are banished if you don't have anything for me. Any of you spirits that are lingering around me that ain't got shit to offer me, I decree and declare you banished forevermore from my energy field. So you better be coming with something. Okay? Worry. I decree and declare any of my soul fragments that got lost up in the midst of worry, and he got on my nerves the most out of all y'all. Out of all, the whole clan. He always has something to say. Be released and removed and brought back home to the mother, the father, and the child. I decree the mammy and the pappy. Any and all of my energy, soul fragments, and light sparks that got caught up within any of them Williams. It don't matter the last name, whether they are Williams or a different branch. Bitch, find them, hunt them down, remove my light sparks, and bring them back on home to the one they belong to. Let's get on Rico. Now, Rico. I gotta say something about Rico now. I like Rico the most, probably out of all of them, even Morris. Okay, he was a little more down to earth, but Rico, it is what it is, bitch. You ran with him, and it's a fact that y'all was working in these networks together, within these secret societies together. Bitch, you might have been fine, but you weren't that fine. Take my motherfucking light sparks up out of Rico. I decree and declare every single bit of my energy, all of my soul fragments and light sparks that got caught up within Rico are removed, released, freed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Okay, now let's go on down. Let's finish this off with now. We got to get into. I done said all them, the girls, Keisha Watson, all them. I'm talking about everybody. I don't got to go through a list and name these motherfuckers. We know, spirit. We already know. I decree and declare that all of my soul fragments and light sparks are removed from any of these individuals, whether I name them or not. Okay? But I'm probably going to name a lot of them. But we already know the ones I named. Remove them and bring them on back on home. Okay? Who else do I want to talk about? Now, what's that boy name? What's that boy name? What is that boy name? Okay? Now, he was distant from the family, but he was a part of that family. And as soon as I remember his name, I don't even got to remember his name. I decree and declare all of my soul fragments and light sparks that was up in that bitch are removed, released, and brought on back home to the mother and the father and the child. But I forgot his name, but it's right on the tip of my tongue. And as soon as I turn this off, I'm gonna remember it. But damn. Okay. What else? What else? What else do I want to say about any of these individuals down there on Old Williams Road? And go up underneath the ground and take my light sparks, any of my soul fragments that are underneath that ground, up on that road. Okay? That they had stashed. Go up underneath the ground. Go all the way into the core of the earth. And snatch my soul fragments. I decree and declare that any and all of my soul fragments and light sparks that are caught up within the core of the earth are released, freed, removed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Now, what else do I want to say? What else do I want to say? Since we still on this subject, let's go ahead and talk about Isaiah and them. Isaiah, I decree and declare, I already did that. Chris, the brother. Tammy, the sister. The other brother, the older brother, I forgot his name, but I don't even know his name. Get him and snatch my soul fragments and my light particles up out of them and bring them on back home to me where they belong. My babies belong to me and not them. Not them posers and fronters and individuals who don't even know what the fuck they are, who they are, because they've been too busy going against the divine beings. They've been too busy working for the Matrix. They've been too busy working for the beast that they don't even know who the fuck they are. Wasting their time because they thought that they was finna be winning and getting these payouts. Okay. Who else? I done ravaged that whole family, that whole clan, girl. Who else? Oh, and let's get down to the baptism. Let's get to the church now. So, at this time now, like I said, I came into this lifetime with my memories. I came into this lifetime with my abilities. I came into this lifetime knowing who I had been. But it was due to the early life grooming and the treatments and the dark magic and everything of this nature that I forgot who I was as I grew up. The memories left because of the orbs and the black shit that came and occupied within those spaces, which froze my particles into place. Because how I be knowing who I am, the way I know who I am is to scanning my energy field. With that dark shit in the way, I couldn't scan my energy field. So anyway, eventually I wound up, that's when I met Morris when I was about 17 to 18. And we were living in that neighborhood, Riverbrooke. And you know, it was instant. Like the connection was instant, but that was because of dark magic, that was spells, that was witchcraft. And mind you that our favorite TV show was Charmed. Myself and Morris, he would come up there every morning and we would be watching Charmed. This became a relationship. This was a friendship at first, quote friendship, but won't never friendship because the bitch was doing whatever he was doing behind my back anyway. But it became something where I fell in quote love, but it was not love. This was infatuation. This was energy harvesting. This was him trying to get in my heart. which he was able to. Okay. But so I wound up going to his church, but this was only because, again, at the time I didn't realize what was going on, and I loved him so much that I was just trying to sort of maybe appease him. I was most definitely in love with Morris. I can't lie about that. Even though it wasn't really love though, but it was love. I was most definitely head over heels in love with Morris. I used to get mad when I seen him with girls. Them beards that he used to be with. But all of this he was doing on purpose anyway, to affect me in that way. Okay? But let's get to this baptism now. I started going to that church. I forgot the name of the church, but I started to go to the church. I got baptized at that church. Okay? Right away, like right after the baptism, I get home and it started to feel real funny to me. That baptism. Now that's because that was a ritual. I was dead smack in the middle of a demonic ritual. Okay? Up in that church, getting dipped inside of that water. Okay? So, let's go ahead and do our decrees and declarations surrounding that baptism. I decree and declare all of my energy, soul fragments, any of my light sparks that got caught up within that ritual, that baptism, removed, released, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Myself, can't none other do it. That thing in the Bible could never. That white Jesus ain't. Jesus was not some masculine thing like that. Jesus had mother in him. He couldn't be that. That was never Jesus. You're a liar. Okay? I decree and declare all of my light sparks and soul fragments coming up out of that. Okay? I decree and declare my soul fragments and light sparks coming up out of that church as a whole. And I'm talking about the preacher at the time, the preacher now, the preachers of past. Go up underneath that church and take my light sparks up out of that ground. Go up in every room. Go up in every deacon, every usher. Oh, bitch, I ain't said nothing about these tired ass first ladies. Go up in these motherfucking first ladies and take my light sparks and soul fragments up out of each and every first lady. In every church, in every city, every state, every country. Okay. I think I'm done here. We done got them together. Thank you. Bye-bye.